back to another video. My name is Matt Schmidt and I guide people to heal themselves. In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to get out of the analytical mind. A lot of times when I work with people, their kind of hang up is getting out of this analytical mind, kind of judging everything as it comes up and like trying to figure it out as it's happening. So I feel particularly qualified to talk about this, being a classically trained scientist. Uh, I was always stuck in my head. Um, and why do we want to get out of that state? It's okay to have that, but to be completely stuck in that, you miss out on listening to that higher guidance. Okay? And one of the ways that we do this is by quieting the mind. So I'll tell you a couple of stories. So when I was first learning to do this, I had this game where you hook this headset up to your head and it measures your brain waves. And I was the only like I got the game because I was interested in like neuroscience and I was interested how like it could read your brainwaves and the goal was to like raise this ball with a fan that would go faster based on if you were in a calm state. And everyone was treating me like when people put up the bumpers for you in bowling, they're like, do you want us to put up the bumpers for you? Like they're all giving me tips like they're gonna help, just focus on nothing. Focus on nothing. What do you mean focus on nothing? I get all worked up. That doesn't make any sense. um, so I was just getting frustrated at this game, and I was the one that bought the game. That was the funny part. I bought it to to show people like how we could use our minds to and our brainwave patterns to basically how to change things and how we could adjust our mind concentration. And so yeah, I was trying trying really hard to focus on that. And for those of you that know me, that I brought this to the school that I was working at, and I think I swear I was the only one that couldn't do it. Like I'd get so mad at it, like I almost broke it a couple times. um, so yeah, that was my first encounter with this. And yeah, so people were trying to help me, like, you just have to quiet your mind, and that didn't make any sense to me. I didn't understand what that meant. And people were like, well, you just need to be in the now. What do you mean be in the now? It doesn't make that didn't make, none of this stuff made any sense to me. Just observe your thoughts. I'm like, I'm observing my thoughts all the time, like, but I really wasn't observing them. I was attaching to them. There's a huge difference. So the reason that this is important is because when we get out of our own way, we can actually listen to that higher guidance that's always there. Uh, and that's really helpful to guide us in life, so we can figure out stuff. It doesn't have to be that hard. I always thought I had to figure out everything myself. And sometimes stuff doesn't make sense logically. Sometimes you have to go with that gut instinct, that feeling. That is that guidance. Okay? Once you start listening to it, play around with it. Don't take my word for it. Once you start listening to it, life gets way easier. Another example, another funny example I'll give you when I was like learning how to meditate. This is a real struggle for me. Like I was all worried about doing it right, and we had a meditation CD that we had, and there's a lady on it. She said, each time I say the word relax, you'll relax twice as deeply. We got to the end of that, and I was all mad because I wasn't 1,024 times more relaxed. I was calculating how to do it. Like, oh yeah, I should be this relaxed. Why am I not this relaxed? Like, I'm doing it right, aren't I? And I'd get so worked up. So I was so in my head about having to do it right, having to be a right way, and like the process of it, and like focusing so hard on like doing it right that I wasn't actually doing it. I was actually like getting in my own way. So once I learned how to do that, the process got a little bit easier. And then once I realized what it was, once I realized what that state was, I was like, wait, I do this all the time when I'm busy doing other stuff. And I think that was probably like the big realization. Like we all do that. Obviously, just like a muscle or anything, the more you practice, the more you can stay in that state. Um, but you don't have to have a set way. I think the big key thing to learn is that guidance is always there, and knowing what that is. So once I started doing this, I realized, oh yeah, this stuff is here. Like I've heard that voice before. Oh, I know what that is. Like for me, I thought it was just me thinking of it, and the way I identify it now is those thoughts that just kind of come out of nowhere, like kind of come out of the blue, like that pop in your mind. Even though you weren't thinking about it, it didn't logically get there. It was like, oh, something just pops in your mind. Sometimes a name, a place, something just pops in your mind, that is that guidance. Okay, and I think the big step is starting to recognize that and realizing that, and then the next step is actually following it, following into that. Um, the old me would have been like, "Oh, why would I think of that? Like that's so weird," and I would dismiss it. Well, now that I've gotten out of that analytical mind, I can acknowledge it and I can tap back into that, and that's really helpful. So, yeah, I'd love you to share how any stories you have, how you get out of your analytical mind. Mostly it was me getting out of my own way and realizing that um, when I didn't focus on it, when I wasn't working at it or trying to do this, like that's when it actually would work. So, if you're having trouble with this, the easiest way to do this is sleep. Sleep is the easiest way to get your conscious mind out of the way to get out of that analytical mind. All right, and then start writing down your dreams. That's probably the easiest first step because you naturally do that anyway. And then just kind of going from there. So, yeah, if you want to put in the comments any success you've had on working on this and getting all that analytical mind, let me know. All right, we'll see you on the next video. Bye.